Expressions without limits, conversations without borders. Welcome to the Vocal Lounge, where you can speak your truth and live your dream. My name is Lorada, and I'll be your host for today. So, today we have Mr. Francois, who's here to talk about his book. So, Mr. Francois, thank you for being with us today. And congratulations on launching your book. You said in your book you take aspects of the wildlife and you're putting it into business. Yes, all the lessons that you have learned. Can you just give us the insight on how you apply that into your daily lives?
In the day to day. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, maybe just a bit of background on that is that, when I go to the bush, and specifically most of those lessons actually came from, bush experiences, in the Kruger. And it started with short videos, and then it became a book. And the principle is that there's a lesson that we learn, that I actually got a meaning from the experience. And because I'm passionate about business and wildlife, then immediately there's a connection to then. So what does that mean for business? Whether you're a business owner or whether you're an employee, a team member, there's that application. So it's not a book for the shelves. It's like a compass. You actually a lesson. You'll see what is applicable. What do I learn from this? And then you actually apply this to your situation, because everyone is unique. The context is different. And but so what does that mean for me, where I'm at in terms of a specific challenge or an opportunity? You can apply that and see how do you actually then, what can I do? What is the implication for me, and what can I do about it? What do I learn from it? And then it is the application.
So, which lesson is close to your heart from all the 25 lessons that you gave us? Which one is very close to you?
It's a difficult one, because it's like whose child do you love most? Everyone is so unique. If I can think immediately, the bush lesson about Klipspringer. And the reason for that is my late dad. He always, we traveled a lot, and he always loved that when we get to those clip copies, and so you're looking for, scanning for a Klipspringer. And the lesson there is that, the male and female, they always make sure that they see each other, and that is to protect themselves. So the application is that we also need other people to, in our lives, to see what we can't see ourselves. So it's like the blind spots that you have, and then so that you really can fulfill, your potential, because it's those things that I can't see that often actually is an obstacle, holds you back. But by getting a new insight from someone else, you actually, a whole new world could open up for you. And yeah, that's one of those that I think, yeah, speak.
Can people apply it like into their daily lives? How can they do that? Like it's either whether they're in business concept or anyone who's like, you know what, I want the lessons. Even
Yeah,
if I'm not doing the
yeah,
business,
yeah,
I
yeah,
just want to apply the lessons in my
yeah,
life with
yeah,
the scenarios that you gave us there
yeah,
in the book.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. If I may, I'm just gonna use like a matchbox as an example. You have matches inside,
Yes.
but it means nothing if you don't use it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you actually take out one match, I'm just gonna, and I mean, there's light. You can light a candle that brings light. And that is for me how to use the book. Because sometimes there's uncertainty on a specific area. Um, and by igniting, it's like igniting the flame. You actually, one lesson could actually be life changing. It is like lighting that candle that actually bring lights to a room. And so by going through that lesson, it's not a book that, okay, how can I read this book from lesson 1 to 25, and then there's a, yes, it might be, but you'll see which ones speak to you, and what is your specific challenge or opportunity, your uniqueness, your context, and then you read through it, because it describes the experience, what is the learning from that, and then how does it relate to, your situation through practical steps, but then also through thought-provoking questions that I'm asking on each lesson. Um, that what is equivalent to this in your situation. So the purpose is to so that we start thinking differently. In today's world, the days are gone where you have a problem and here's the solution. It is just too complex. Um, it is how do I apply new thinking? How do I get a new perspective um, that give me insights? And from that insights, okay, so what do I do now with that? How can I take the first step? We don't have to have the full solution from beginning to end. Often it is just that first step that I have to take. And sometimes it is often out of our comfort zone. But that's where growth happens. That's where growth happens when you step outside of your comfort zone. I was hugely out of my comfort zone by writing the book. Okay, so it is an example of you do new things, and it is enlightening. It is life changing, and I think that is what I would like to people do is actually what new perspective can I get and get intrigued and get curious about my situation and which lesson might be applicable. You want to be constantly curious because from the curiosity, you want to generate energy. And what will generate energy and, yeah, lighten up, light your own fire and bring light to the room, bring light to people. So then you light another one and another one. So you bring light and you need other people to help you with that. Yeah, and that's why we need people in our lives that to deal with the challenges and opportunities.
Your readers out there, how do you see it impacting their lives? So, when you were writing this book, what was your vision writing this book? What are the outcomes that you're hoping for
Hmm.
from this book? So that when people one day come to you, it's like, your book? Or when you vision it, it's like,
Yeah,
one day I want someone to say something like this
yeah,
to me
yeah,
about my book.
yeah. My vision for a start is every business owner in South Africa must have the book, and their teams must have the book. I see it is like, when you're looking for answers, people go to Google and that. No, push lessons for business is one of your resources that you it's a culmination of so much experience over the years as previously in corporate and in me as a business coach. And so I want to see that people have conversations about things that are critical in their careers, in their business, in the market, in life, to allow discussions, conversations, and I've started to see that already by people having the book, because now there's, hey, let's have a discussion about, let's take that bush lesson, and everyone go and read it once a week. You actually have a conversation, you get everyone's input to it, and I think through that's when new opportunities start to be seen. So if conversations will be different, conversations will be intriguing, should be enlightening, and because everyone's got a voice, and some people are actually too afraid to really express their view on something. But when you provide something like, because it's practical, it is simple, and not complex at all, I want everyone that actually start having conversations and talking about it. And I think through that, you know, new perspectives are being seen and heard. And you say, with this, I can actually now do this. Okay, what are we going to do? Because just by learning doesn't make a difference. You have to take action. You have to take the first step and say, okay, based on this, what is the next step that I have to take given the goal that I set for myself, or for us as a team, or for us as a business, or as a group?
uh, the way life is so rushing nowadays, we forget to stop and see things the way they are and like capture the moment. So how can they like do that? Like
Hmm.
take the value, like taking up the value of being there, being present. How can they do that through this book?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I like that, but you're saying, to be present, and I think to be present to yourself, to that situation, and so by, for instance, I look at when you're taking action, there's always a purpose for why you're taking action. Now, there are two aspects. You get something and you gain something. Now, which is most valuable? The gaining. We think always in getting, but what do we gain? We gain new experiences, we gain new knowledge, we gain new insights. And that is where growth happens. So, growth is an important value of taking action. Because if you don't take action, next year, this year, going to be exactly the same as the previous year. If you don't change your behaviors, if you don't change your disciplines, and I think taking action is always that first step. You don't have to know the full all the steps from beginning to end. It is because by taking action, you get new insights. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. That's also another lesson there. And what are the lessons from it? Because often it is the defeats that we actually get most of our lessons and learn new things. And then, what can I do now next with this new insight? Yeah.
How can the finders find your book, like your readers? How can the readers find your book? I know it's already launched. Yes. What other
Yeah,
platforms can
currently,
you,
yeah,
yes.
currently it is we're distributing the books itself. So by going to the Game Changer Coach, and so then they will find the website, and there also is a link to that. So there's a link that people can link to, and then actually give them more information also about the book. When they complete the form, we get the information, we are in contact with them, and then we will actually then distribute the book to them. Yeah, I see. Bush Lessons for Business is not only the book; it becomes, as I said, becomes that brand that share uh, um, how to apply your thinking differently in different contexts. Yes, so the plan is that, for instance, my premium product is going to be a bush retreats. For people that actually physically come to the bush, and we have strategic sessions. Their application from what we in reality actually learn, and then the application of that. Then also I've got the Supreme Game Changer workshops, where people actually also, well, their specific situation being, because we want to work with what is real, and how is that then, lessons applied, to their situation, because it's about people have to discover for themselves.
So in your book, you also said you talk about achieving beyond what is possible.
Hmm.
Yes, I feel like people, they might forget that we limit ourselves to what
Yeah.
is possible now. Can you just give us more insight? Like, what is the beyond? How can anyone identify the beyond?
Yeah.
Because some people, we don't even think that there's a beyond
Mm.
on what we can see that is tangible at the
Yes.
moment.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
can we identify or set our mind for the beyond?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you can let
Yeah.
us know.
Yeah. Great point. I believe that most people only perform at a fraction of what is possible. When you think about a baby that's been born and the mother holds the baby, and they look at this baby, what do they think about what is possible? Anything. Then life happens, and you actually then starting getting disappointments because you're taking action. This kind of event happens, this experience. Over time, you actually constrain yourself. It is like mud that you put on you have this freedom. But now, every time there's a limiting belief, a limiting knowledge, limiting experience, disappointments, I didn't deal with that in that way. It's like always adding mud to it. And over time, it dries. Then there's, you're constrained. So you need a washing of that to actually start. And that is by why you need people in your life to actually giving you a new perspective, who you really are.
What are your thoughts? Like, what advice can you give people out there who don't know where to start, and how can they make it out there? Because the world is forever changing. We have technologies, new methods, new different type of marketing. Like,
I think the first part is really what is it? Who am I? What is it I love? What's my passion? What's my talent? And operate in that world, and to be yourself. Don't try to be someone else. So when you just acknowledge that this is who I am, this is what I love, what I want to do, and then you start looking for, okay, but what are the opportunities within that domain, and identify, okay, is it maybe a first job that I have to apply for? Is it a new business that I want to start? Do I want to start a business? Why? What is their problem that they have? And I've got a solution for it. And then start, because it's feedback. If you don't do anything, you don't get any feedback. But when you start getting feedback, what's my lesson learned? Did I get the business or not? And it's like, it then feels like, no, it's a defeat. But then you go to that one bush lesson as well, in terms of the leopard and the warthog. There's lessons in victory and defeat. But I think important thing is, speak to people. Don't try to do everything yourselves. There's so much abundance out there of people who want to help and get their input.
Like taking the leap of faith, as you said. Um, you going to Trump's house. That was a leap of faith.
Yeah, that was an
Yes.
interesting
Do you
one.
still have the book though? Do you still have it?
Yeah, yeah,
What?
yeah.
Really?
There's in the book also the autograph.
Yeah, I saw
That
that
was
was.
before he actually became president. So I'm standing neutral to the political environment in the US. But I mean, that was like, that's the lesson of soar like an eagle. And it is also just, don't overthink things. Be authentic. And because the idea was standing there and he said, what if I go inside and I say, is Donald Trump in?
Mm-hmm.
And the lady looked at me and said, no, he's not in. I said, oh, that's a shame. Where is he?
Yeah.
She said, he's gone for the weekend. And I said, oh, that's a pity because I wanted to meet him.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I didn't get any impression that it wasn't possible.
Yes, yes.
And that's how I then bought the book. And then when I came back from the Bahamas, actually autograph and even with a personal message, I was surprised. And I think it is an example of, also be fully present where you are, and have life, have energy, do things that you don't overthink it. Will I be now? What will other people think? And yeah, so part of that we have to change our stories. Acknowledge, yes, what's a learning from the past, but what's that new story I want to create? For my future. And yeah, taking bold action. You never know what would come from it. There's always either it's just fun or, some great story. But deep inside, when you think, well, if I can do that, what else is possible? And that's how you create new possibilities. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Foster, for taking the time to talk about the book and your experiences that you have. The book is very impactful. I hope everyone out there buy the book and read. It's beautiful. It's not about just business. It's also about life. Yes, thank you so much for coming through. And then this is Vocal Lounge. I'm the host, Larata Shilana. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.